I remember back when I was a little kid, I would have given anything to be an adult. I would have given so much to just be older and be an adult and do whatever I want whenever I want. I thought that I would be able to just get in a car and go get in and out anytime I wanted. I thought that I could just play video games forever and it wouldn't be an issue, and that I'd never have homework and I could just hang out with friends and do anything all the time and not have to worry about what my parents would say or any teachers or anything like that. But what my young, naive brain didn't realize is that there's so much more to life and living than just those things as a child. As you grow, you get to experience the wonderful and not so wonderful things of getting older. You have to pay bills, you have to take care of your car, you have to go get groceries, you have to deal with loss and heartache. There's a massive list of things that we all have to deal with in time as we get older. Not only does your body change, but your mind changes as well. So what actually makes us adults? We're not thinking of a specific number here or a rite of passage, but according to psychology, there's actually 12 different signs that you've properly navigated the road from psychological infancy into psychological maturity. The first sign is that you're introspective. As you become psychologically mature, you're more able to look inside of yourself and understand that there's a whole lot of stuff going on in here upstairs. There's lots of things that you can sit back and really reflect on in time. There's this introspective level of thought that never really existed before. The second sign is that you're more realistic with what's happening inside of you. So not only are you more introspective and able to have those conversations with yourself about yourself, but you're able to have those conversations with other people about yourself as well. You can properly articulate your thoughts and feelings in ways that aren't super complex. It helps people better understand you, your wants, and your needs. Third sign is that you don't have a victim mentality and that you understand that you can't change anything on how your caregivers previously raised you. Countless people grow up in very difficult situations, and whether it be through their biological parents raising them or someone else, that we all have our own challenges and series of heartaches that we've had to go through. And as you psychologically mature, you understand that your caregivers may or may not have done the best they could, but no amount of anxious thinking, depressive thoughts, behaviors, any of that is going to change what's already happened. You also acknowledge that you have a new, strong sense of control over yourself, your thoughts, your feelings. Even if it may be difficult or awkward to go to therapy or talk about this stuff and really reflect on what's wrong, you have all the control in the world to be able to address those things in healthy ways. The fourth sign is that you start setting boundaries and initiate self-care because it feels good to you. This is about the bedtime routines, the self-care, meditation, journaling, doing all the things that feel good for your body, that are good for your body. Whether you're dieting or exercising, anything and everything about self-care is super crucial here. This is a sign that you're understanding that your body is important and that you need to take care of it. There's behaviors that are important that help change the way that your life functions. If we don't take care of our mind and our bodies, bad things happen. And if we do take care of them, amazing things can happen. The fifth sign is that you understand that you don't have to act off every thought. There's plenty of times a day when we have random thoughts that have nothing to do with anything, or they may be very inappropriate. Intrusive thoughts are completely normal and they happen to all of us. Just because we have those thoughts and just because something shoots up in our minds, it doesn't mean you have to blurt it out or let it explode into someone else's life so aggressively. There's so many people who shove their opinions down others' throats. They just think that everything that comes to mind just has to be known to the world. You become a much better listener and you know when to share appropriate, relevant thoughts. The sixth sign is that you understand your feelings and you don't live in denial. Countless people struggle with the idea of facing their emotions and feeling all the emotions. We think that all the time we need to be happy. I did an episode on Inside Out. I did an episode on multiple episodes on happiness and fulfillment. Understanding that a lot of times people think that all we want is happiness. The goal is happiness. But happiness is a state, not a trait. It's one single emotion. It's important for us to feel all the emotions, whether we label them as good or bad or neutral. In order to be a comprehensively healthy, psychologically sound, and mature individual, we have to feel all the emotions, process them, experience them. How does it make our bodies feel? How does it make our heart rates feel? How does it affect our breathing? We sit with the emotions and we deal with them. When these things happen, a lot of people either toss them to the side or they bottle them up and shove them down somewhere deep and dark in the back corners of their brains. And that turns into this poison or this demon that eats away at you. And it explodes into something so much bigger and so much scarier later down the line. So psychologically mature people are able to deal with these things even when it's scary. Seventh sign is that you have empathy and patience when dealing with others. Not everybody knows what you know. Not everybody does what you do, and not everybody sees the world in the ways that you see it. Every time you deal with someone else, especially in a professional setting, that person has a completely different perspective in life than you do. Psychologically mature people understand this, and they can navigate the complexities of all of this. They know that, hey, just because I see something a certain way doesn't mean that everyone else sees it the same way too. The eighth sign is that you have a sense of humility and know that good and bad will come as a natural course of life. This one is all about acceptance, knowing that there's lots of things that we can't control. As many as there are that we can control, there's many things that we just kind of have to accept in certain ways. However, that doesn't mean that we can't influence them or change them. We may have to accept that we've had a tough childhood, or that we don't come from money, or that a certain thing may be a big challenge or hindrance in your life. But just because you're accepting it, it doesn't mean that you can't do something to help improve how you feel about it or how you think about that thing. For example, I did EMDR a while ago. I had a whole episode on what it is, how it worked, and all that stuff. A huge part of the EMDR therapy was helping me reframe some traumatic experiences I had gone through and learn to accept what they were and how they shaped me with who I am today and led me to a much healthier, happier place. The ninth sign is that you can navigate how others execute off their intentions. When you're psychologically immature, you tend to think that everyone might be out to get you, or everything is personal and everything's about you. You may think that because someone acted a certain way, that's the exact way that they were thinking as well. Well, a sign of psychological maturity is that you understand that people's actions and behaviors may differ. Someone may try to be nice and friendly, but they may come across as obnoxious, annoying, overbearing, something like that. Someone may try to help you on a project at work, but they may actually end up messing everything up and doing the wrong thing. They may have a different skill set that they thought was relevant to the project, but it actually wasn't. There's a whole slew of examples that could be given here, but the important part is to know that psychologically mature people understand there may be a dissonance sometimes on what the intentions are behind specific actions. The 10th sign is that you're grateful for the people and things in your life. And you don't always need or demand more in malicious ways. We've all heard about the gratitude journaling, being grateful, be thankful for what you have, and just say thanks and all of that stuff. As hokey as it sounds, as overused as it is, it's one of the most tried and true methods to being psychologically healthy, psychologically sound, and just creating psychologically safe environments. The happiest, most fulfilled people are all super, super grateful. They understand the people and the things in their life are super irreplaceable, and they don't have some arbitrary value that can be replaced with material things. They take very good care of themselves, the people, and the things in their lives, because they understand that sometimes less is more, and that's okay. I'm grateful for what I have and how I have it. As I was growing up, my mom always forced us to write thank you notes to everybody. Anytime we got Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, little surprises, calls from somebody, whatever, she always told us, write a thank you note, send it out. And we thought it was so annoying. We were so painfully against it. But it was such a wonderful lesson in gratitude that for many years I didn't understand. But now as an adult, it's something I'm very proud of and excited about. But it just took a while to get there. So gratitude will serve you so exceptionally well moving forward. The 11th sign is that you become aware of your subconscious habits. This is pretty similar to some of the previous points mentioned, but our subconscious minds are very, very impactful for us. And a lot of the times, because it's in the subconscious mind, it's something that we don't even realize is happening to us in the first place. So the more you can do that introspective thinking, be present with yourself and know where you're at in the world, the more you can understand kind of your background and where these things might have come from. There's subconscious thoughts that arise and maybe influencing certain behaviors that you might not even be aware of. But the more you pay attention to these things and the more you call them out, the more you can become aware of, hey, I didn't realize I do this thing, or I didn't realize I had this nervous tick, or I didn't realize that subconsciously I was always against this type of thing and it caused me to be a little bit more standoffish with this type of person or in this environment. These things are very, very helpful, but they can take a long time to develop. The 12th and final sign of psychological maturity is that you understand how your childhood has shaped who you are today. So building off of the previous point, this one is specifically aimed at your childhood. We've all grown up in different ways. We've all grown up in different environments with different people, different friends, different educations. All of these things were vastly, vastly different. And as you psychologically mature, you understand that these things played a massive role in your psychological, intellectual, personal, and professional development. The way that you treat others, the way that you love, you give it and receive it in different ways. The way that you work and how you receive feedback. All of these things were impacted by certain things that happened in your childhood in various degrees. So the more you can step back and look from the 50,000 foot level and say, hey, yeah, I was abandoned a lot as a child. And so I felt a lot of feelings of loneliness. And so that led to ABC, XYZ as I got older. These are super important things to pay attention to and help work on as you get older. That is a massive sign of psychological maturity. So as you work through these 12 things and build the awareness around all of them, you'll start to realize that, hey, maybe you check all the boxes, or hey, maybe there's some areas that I haven't fully checked off yet, or that I could use a little bit more work in. If there's anything at all that you have questions about, leave it in the comments below and I'd be happy to discuss. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate the engagement. Remember to take care of yourselves. Remember to take care of those around you. And for all things psychology to help you think, feel, and perform better, stay tuned right here on Psychology of Living.